we're going to talk a little bit about maximizing your marketing on a shoestring budget. Now I'm going to talk almost exclusively about digital because that's what I know and love, and we do live in a very digital focused world. So all the marketing I'm going to talk about is basically planning on digital marketing as opposed to traditional. So a little bit about me. You just heard my bio, but I am the CEO of Smarter Searches, just down the road a bit. I was a finalist for Young Entrepreneur of the Year. I was in the 40 Under 40 in the Business Journal this year, actually. Terrible picture, but it's, you know. I have worked on the agency side, and I have worked in-house. So I've seen marketing from looking at one company to looking at many companies, and I've been doing this about 12 years now. So I've pretty much seen an enormous evolution in digital marketing going from, you know, back when social first came out all the way to where it is now, where social is a part of our life and something that we look at and are actually considering for our businesses now on a daily basis. I'm a top 20 digital strategist, influencer in digital marketing, all of that laundry list, and there could be more, but that's really obnoxious when people do that. So when we talk about maximizing your marketing, you have to start with analytics. And a lot of people end with analytics. You have to start and end with analytics. If you don't track your marketing from the very beginning all the way through to the end, you are throwing away money. So that is my number one. If you leave with nothing, leave with a plan to go check your analytics and to make analytics a part of your daily, weekly, or monthly chores. That is probably the single most important thing I'm going to say to you today. I'll have other tips and tools and case studies and things for you, but that's my number one piece, is analytics. Because what analytics can do for you is it really gives you an idea of where you are, where you're going, and then once you've gone somewhere, how far you came and where you still need to go. You need that roadmap in order to keep moving forward. Otherwise, you're just sort of sitting around, and it's very difficult if you're in, say, a marketing manager role to prove to a C-level owner or your boss that you actually are worth being there. So it makes it much easier to prove the value and efficacy if you have actual analytics to back it up. So it's the beginning and the middle and the end and pretty much everything. So use your analytics. When you use analytics, and I'm just assuming that everyone's using Google Analytics when they have a website, there are many other platforms that are much more robust. They're also much more expensive. So I'm just going with the assertion that you have Google Analytics because it's free and it's easy to install and easy to implement and by and large pretty easy to read. There's a lot of great information about it. So look at things like page visits. How many people are coming to your web pages? Look at how you're performing on mobile. We live in an increasingly mobile society. So look at how mobile's performing. Look at your channel sources. This is how people are getting to your website, whether it's a Google search or a Facebook page or an email or a paid ad or a banner ad. Look at how that performs over time. Landing pages, which pages are they going to? Once they're there, how long do they stay there? Do they keep looking at other pages? Look at the geographic reports. If you only sell in Knoxville and you're getting a ton of traffic from China, that might be something we should look at. If you're only providing services in the United States, but you're paying for advertisements that are targeting Canada, that's not going to work out very well. So it's a good way to look at problems. It's also a great way to look at opportunities. If you sell nationally and you see a huge influx of traffic from Chicago, you might want to do a dedicated campaign focusing on Chicago. That's targeted, that's more specific. It lets you get a better idea of where your customers are, where they're coming from, and lets you look back at your strategy. Your goals. That's incredibly important. Think about what your goals are. You can track goals, you can establish goals. Goals can be people spending time on a page, which means reading a blog post. That's a goal. A goal can be filling out a form, signing up for a newsletter, buying something, creating a profile, you name it. that can be a goal. Goal doesn't just have to be a sale. Make sure you're tracking those in your analytics, and look at the change over time. So those are just some of the reports you might want to consider. There are a number of others, but build a baseline. Figure out where you're starting from. We kind of consider this as state of the site instead of state of the union. It's a state of the site report. So it gives you a baseline. Where are you starting from so that you know how to prove your progress. If you don't have this, it's very difficult to prove growth. It's very difficult to prove that money invested in certain opportunities was well spent. Make sure you write it down. Save it. This is not very sensitive. There's a wall in the way. There we go. That'll help, I think. All right, so questions to ask yourself when you're looking at your analytics. What's profitable? What is bringing in the best traffic to your site? What is an opportunity for you to bring traffic into your site? What are your best pages? What are your worst pages? Are your visitors skimmers or readers? It's nuance a lot of times in these pages, but these are good questions to ask yourself. If you're writing blog content, but you find that people only stay on your blog pages about 30 seconds, they're not reading it. They're skimming it. If you find that you write a blog post and people are spending 5 or 7 minutes on that particular post, that's an engaging post that people are reading. Do more like that. So maybe it's the structure, maybe it's the topic, maybe it's how you promoted it. So that gives you some insights in what you can do to replicate those results and keep replicating those results. All right, so case study and someone that used analytics. Netflix. They started out by having the DVD mail service, and then eventually they moved into streaming. And now it's basically everyone just streams Netflix. Most people have a Netflix account or know somebody whose account they can use, or somebody's password. So most people are familiar with Netflix. Well, Netflix is very familiar with all of us. They're familiar with what we like, what types of content we engage with. They learned that we love binge watching television shows. And so they don't release TV shows like Stranger Things 1 episode at a time and give us a new one each week. They release the entire season all at once so that we can binge watch it, tell our friends about it, they can binge watch it, and then repeat those things. They also look at those when they create and greenlight new projects. So House of Cards came about because of the types of roles people like Kevin Spacey in. And so that paved the way for people to create House of Cards. They look at how long we're watching something so that when it says, "Are you still watching?" and you guiltily say, "Yes, I'm still watching," they're looking at that. They're looking at actors, they're looking at script lines, they're looking at plot, they're looking at themes, and that's how you end up seeing a lot of the shows that we all have been binge watching. That entirely revolves around the fact that they track everything. Their analytics is incredibly robust, and they cross-reference literally everything in order to figure out what people wanted. And with that in mind, they've been able to do things like raise prices without any backlash from people. They've been able to raise prices and eliminate the DVD model without anyone having a problem with it, because all they did was add more programming and start creating programming that we all really like. And so that's created problems for things like cable companies who don't have that level of data available at their fingertips. So analytics is incredibly important. Money saving tip. Google Analytics is free. Totally free. You just add a snippet of code to your website and there it is. You have all of your data at your fingertips. So that's a great way to save money. Sure, there are platforms like Omniture, which if you have an enormous amount of pages could cost you $30,000 a month. Most people don't need that. Google Analytics is completely free, so all of that data is available to you. A tool tip: build a dashboard in Google Analytics with only the reports that you care about, whether that's mobile usage, certain pages, bounce rate, page performance, goals, e-commerce reports. Put all of the reports that you care about into your own dashboard, set it up to email you once a month or once a week or daily or whatever, and make sure you have that scheduled. That way you know you don't have to log into analytics every week. You don't have to go in and check on everything every single day. It will come straight to you, and you can have it straight in your inbox every month. Something that's very, very useful and reminds you that you should go back in and keep track of things. Okay, so tracking goals. Tracking goals is very, very important. Goals, as I mentioned earlier, are something that can be a number of different things. Goals mean different things for different businesses. If you're business to business and you're selling, let's say, a $50,000 piece of machinery, people are not going to buy it online. If you're selling a t-shirt, people will probably buy it online. So someone that's selling a t-shirt for $20 is more likely to get sales on their website than someone that's selling a $50,000 printer. So you have to figure that there are different ways of qualifying a lead or different ways of qualifying a sale or what a goal is for you. If you write a blog post and you really want to see how people are reading it and it's something that you want to track, put a goal for it for someone that reads that particular page and stays on it longer than 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is. That's a goal. If you want to track the performance from social media, say you're starting a new hashtag campaign on Twitter, consider anyone that comes to your site and visits more than 3 pages as a goal. So goals do not have to be clear-cut. I filled out a form or I bought something. A lot of times people limit themselves to just those items, but really goals can be just about anything, and it's a great way to track and measure items that are opportunities for you down the road. Track your customer's path. So this is now we're moving kind of out of analytics into figuring out who your customer is. So look at what path they're taking. How do they come into your site? Most of the time they're going to come in through the homepage, but that's not always the case. If you do a big campaign and it's sending people to another location, then you're not going to see a huge influx in traffic to the homepage. But generally, a lot of people will come in through the homepage. Well, where do they go next? Look at their path. Do they go to a services page, and then an about page, and then a contact page? Or do they go from the homepage to the about page, and then the contact page, and then they purchase? Someone that takes that path might be a better customer to you, so that might mean you need to rearrange your navigation. So things like that can give you clues into how people are digesting your content and in what order. That report's completely available in analytics, so it's easy to kind of visualize what converters are doing on your site. What path are they taking? Do successful customers take a specific path? So the next step is personas. Personas are something that's really important as we've gotten even more information about analytics and who people are. This came about a lot through things like Facebook. We learned with Facebook's targeting that I didn't have to target someone that was, let's say, a white female age 24 to 35 with kids. Well, now I can target a white female 25 to 34 who watches Game of Thrones, has children in homeschooling, whose husband makes $150,000 a year and lives in the 37919 zip code. That's a really, really specific person that I can target to, but now we have that ability. So now, as a business owner or a marketing person, think about who your target persona is. I threw up just 2 quick examples of things like us. I name our personas after my clients because it helps me visualize them as a person. So I think about who they are and give them a name. What business are they in? What is their role in the company? What is their goal in using our services? What kind of is a general way of describing what their lifestyle is? How much are they willing to spend? What is their overall overarching goal? How old are they? What do they like? What are they going to respond to? So for us, looking at someone like a Bob, he's a B2B customer. He's over 40. He's been doing this for a long time. He is not in a boutique business. He's not doing restaurants. He's doing the B2B, heavy, kind of boring stuff. But he's crazy busy. And all he cares about is getting his time back and simplifying his life. He has enough to worry about running this company that he wants things that are quick and easy and streamlined. And so what I can provide for him is something that's easy, a nice, clean, easy package in order to make his life easier. Whereas someone like a Mike, he's a little younger. He knows enough to be dangerous. I get a lot of that. I know enough about SEO to be dangerous. I know enough about social to be dangerous. And they want to know more. So their goal is not only ROI that they can bring to their boss, but also they want to understand more. They want to eventually tackle more of these projects, but they don't, a lot of times they're wearing too many hats. They're doing trade shows, they're doing digital, they're doing the print ads, they're doing all of the copy for the website. They're trying to be the webmaster, but they don't know code. So they're doing all of these different things. They wanted, a lot of you are saying, that sounds like me. Not the first time I've heard that. So they're wearing a lot of hats. They want to take some of the responsibilities off of them, but they still want a hand in it, and they want to know that their brand is authentic. They want to make sure all that hard work they've done up to this point is not completely undone by somebody that does not fundamentally understand what they are. So those were like two of the personas that we sketched out. So start to think about, for your business, who are your personas? So consider this like a homework assignment. Write down your personas. It could be one person if you're very niche. It could be 5 different personas. But look at things like gender, age, job title, social status, income level, location, device usage, interests, religion, charities, content desires, goals or pain points, frequency of contact, how much do they want to hear from you, hobbies, appearances, family dynamics, do they rent, do they own, I said charities twice, music, movies, food. All of those things can play a role depending on what your industry is. I've worked with people, they do hunting stuff. Well, they need dog owners. They're, one of their personas is people that own dogs. That's something that we can target for. So think about that. Who are your personas? Because it allows you to be more authentic in all the parts of your marketing. If you understand your personas are dog owners, put a dog in all of your images. That's going to resonate with people. I have a dog that looks like that. I'm gonna click on that ad, or I'm gonna stay on this website because that's a cute dog and I have one that looks just like it. It allows you to be more authentic. So once you understand your personas and what they are, look at your website. Does your website resonate with your personas? Don't focus on your website pleasing everybody. Does it resonate well with your personas? Your website, the main rules on websites must be mobile friendly. Reasons it must be mobile friendly are because Google is now penalizing websites that are not optimized for mobile search. They are doing it in organic and they are doing it in the paid ads. So it used to be that people say, well, it doesn't matter, I'll just bid a little bit higher and I can do it in my AdWords account. Well, now you're going to get penalized. You're going to have to pay even more to show up higher if your website is not mobile friendly. So it's one of those things that it's not optional anymore. You don't get to just say, people don't use mobile devices for us. Yes, they do. Mobile device usage has outpaced desktop usage now for the last 2 years running. So you don't get to say, nobody uses mobile for us. It's not a thing anymore. It must be findable. Google has to be able to find it, because if Google can't find it, your customer can't find it. It's like having those, and in Los Angeles they have those bars and clubs with no signs on the doors, and they're like hidden in back alleys, and like that's cool. That's not cool on the web, because no one will find you. The joke is the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of the search results. Your site must be findable. You must have quality content. You have to provide value. Explain what you are. I worked with a website once. Their homepage said, we are a family-owned business. We are veteran-run. We've been in business for 15 years. We provide quality customer service and care deeply about all of our customers, and we are proudly located in Knoxville. What do?
They didn't tell who they were.
They didn't tell you who they were. You don't know what they do. And you know what? Yes, there is a big picture of a broken windshield on the front, but Google doesn't see that. Google doesn't know that they repair windshields. Google has no idea. And you know what? If that picture is messed up a little bit on mobile, your customers don't know either. So you have to clearly explain for an average user what you do, who you are, why you do it, and make it very clear. Watch your jargon. Something that I have to work with our attorneys and our medical clinics on. Don't speak another language on the website, because I don't know that I have an aortic dissection. I know that I have chest pain and I might die. So think about the language people are speaking. To go back to the auto glass, in the industry it's called auto glass repair or replacement. For us, we have a broken windshield. So when I search for something, I say repair broken windshield or repair my windshield, not auto glass replacement company. That's not how I'm going to search. So think about how they would search for you. Make sure your content reflects that, and then spelling and grammar check that. You have to provide value, and you must have analytics. I go back to analytics, and I keep doing that. You must have analytics on your website. It is free. In most cases, it takes 2 seconds. So, one comment about websites. Just because you can build it yourself doesn't mean you should. I can do my own taxes. I should not do my own taxes. Now, in some cases, you should do your own website. Absolutely. They've made it very simple. There are some great products out there. I'm never going to tell you that you should not build your own website. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. But it's totally on the table now. They've made it so simple, so streamlined. But make sure it meets all of the criteria before. It must be mobile, must be searchable, must have good content, good visuals, good appeal. So make sure it has all of those things. So I'm never going to tell you, no, don't use this company. Do use this company. Don't do it yourself. It doesn't matter, but make sure you meet all of those criteria. So figure out what makes sense for your business. So I have one of my tips next that ties right into that. Money saving tip, don't overbuild your website, but don't under-deliver. So when I say that, I mean, don't build a website that's got heavy e-commerce that costs you $15,000 or $20,000 if you're only going to sell $200 or $300 a month worth of products online. Building something like an e-commerce website, very expensive. Putting something in like an online scheduler where it connects automatically to your Google Calendar and you can schedule appointments and check it with this and that may not make sense for you. So you may not need to add all of those bells and whistles just because you can. Think about how your customers digest your information, what they want to see, and make sure that you pay for that. Not everybody needs a $25,000 website or a $100,000 website. Sometimes a $3,000 website is just the ticket for you. In some cases, you need a $15,000 website or a $25,000 website. But think about what your customers' expectations are for you. But don't under-deliver. Make sure it's mobile friendly, make sure your content is great, and make sure you have great pictures, great visual appeal. It's not expensive to have a good picture. Stock photography, free stock photography, getting a photographer to take a decent headshot. These are not things that are cost prohibitive, so it's not a deal breaker to get great images, and then you can add that into something like a free system or a very affordable website. So don't underdeliver, don't cheapen the website process by having pixely, scratchy, tiny images. It's not expensive to have great pictures. Next up, SEO. I'm very passionate about SEO. I've been doing it for a very long time. It's changed a lot in the last 12 years. For better, for worse, it's changed. So There are different approaches to SEO, or search engine optimization, for those of you that don't know the lingo. Sorry, I use jargon there. I'm not supposed to do that. You can do it yourself. It's cheap to do it yourself. You can do your own SEO. I don't always recommend it, because to do your own SEO, you have to research it. There's a lot of really bad ideas on the web. There's a lot of very outdated tactics that can actually get you in trouble now. So if you do it yourself, you can, but be very careful. If you decide to do it yourself, I highly recommend reading a book called The Art of SEO. It's this thick and about 950 pages. So if you get through it, shoot me an email, because I'd be interested to know how many people actually would do that, because it is dense, but it's all accurate. So if you want to do it yourself, $1 sign, but it's a big time investment to make sure you're doing the right stuff and getting the right information out there. You can hire a freelancer. Anywhere between, you can find a freelancer to do SEO for you on Fiverr, or you can hire a freelancer that's your cousin's child in the basement that fancies themselves an SEO expert, or you can, find someone that has experience with it and has worked, let's say, in an agency role or something like that. So you can go $1 sign to $3 signs. Vet the heck out of any freelancer you hire for SEO. Ask for case studies, information, experience, English proficiency might be a good one. Check for all of these things. Get references when you hire a freelancer, because I've seen it go very, very, very poorly. And let me tell you, recovering from Google penalties is incredibly expensive. It won't cost you less than probably $5,000 to $10,000 if you get thrown out of the search results to get back in. So it's a very expensive mistake to make. You can have a big box brand. You can check the box for GoDaddy to do the SEO thing on your website builder, or you can check the box for the domain things. That's super cheap. It's also not very effective. So you can do that, but it's not going to do a whole heck of a lot. But you can do it. It's not going to do anything wrong. Or you can hire an agency. They're usually like in that $2 sign to the $11 billion sign range. I've heard everything from, we do packages that are as low as about $325 a month helping with SEO, on up to, I've seen $20,000 a month for SEO. So the sky's the limit on that. So you can kind of run a huge range in SEO. SEO, search engine optimization, is a combination of on-page factors on your website, stuff that's going on behind the scenes, the content on your website, and your off-page factors, links and authority and relevance, and how the web at large views your website. And that creates a strong online presence. You have to balance the relevance of your website on specific terms and the authority of your website on those specific terms. So that is what SEO's goal is. It's not smoke and mirrors. It's not black hat. It's not crazy town. It's balancing the relevance on that keyword and the authority. And how you build that is where that process comes in. And that's where hiring somebody that knows what they're doing, or researching the heck out of it and doing it yourself, can make a tremendous difference. So this is a case study from us. We did some work with a medical clinic chain. They didn't do anything wrong. Nothing was broken. There were no penalties. They weren't doing anything awful. They just weren't doing anything productive. So we measured their baseline first, as you have to. And then we did some work. We did some SEO work for them, and we looked at on-page factors, their content, and their links, and off-page factors. Within a month of working with them, we had a 219% increase in ranked keywords, 27% increase in domain authority, which is one of the factors Google looks at how much authority you get, and a 31.56% decrease in page load time. How fast your site loads is a big factor for Google. So we looked at those things, and we're able to do that with them in 1 month. Because we measured it, they were like, great, if you could do that in 1 month, let's sign up for 6 months. So that is where measurement comes in very handy. Looking at all of those factors makes an enormous difference in SEO. The more keywords you rank for, the more opportunities people have to discover you. 20% of all searches done on the web have been done for the very first time. People come up with all sorts of crazy permutations on spellings, misspellings, how to arrange words, how long words are. With semantic search and what we ask Siri for has changed how search looks. We search for much longer things now. So all of those patterns are making a huge difference in how people engage with the search process. So staying on top of those things is very important. Money-saving tip when it comes to SEO, write your own content. Well, don't write bad content. More is not more. Good is crucial. So you have to have quality and quantity. But if you write your own content, hire a professional for the technical part. That can do a huge savings because getting really good content is very expensive. So if you can find someone on your team or someone that works with you or you yourself that can manage the content component, you can save a lot of money in the long run by having someone else work on the technical details. That's a good tip for people because content is very expensive. Bad content is very cheap, but I don't recommend putting that on your website. A tool tip. Download the Moz bar. There's an extension on Chrome for it to view your SEO metrics at a glance. It'll give you your domain authority, your page authority. It'll give you your page load time. It'll give you your title and description information for your meta details. So it gives you a great way to do a quick at a glance thing. We use it, I would say our main SEO person uses it daily, if not multiple times a day. So it's free download, just an extension. If you think it's expensive to hire a professional, you should see how expensive it's going to be to hire an amateur. That is a huge rule of thumb with SEO. You don't want to mess around with someone that is going to cause very expensive mistakes. Doing things black hat Google does not like that. So it's very important to vet them. I think we have blog posts on our website multiple times on questions to ask an agency, things you should request from an agency, questions you should ask an SEO company or a PPC company, because you have to have all that information in there. Content marketing, because content is still king. Everyone loves to say that in the industry, content is king. It's like they say it's a revelation every time, but literally people have been saying it for a decade. Yes, it's still king. Content is important. Content is all the things that you put out there. Content is blogs, your website content, white papers, infographics, videos are content, ebooks, newsletters. Sky's the limit. What else could be content? Content is print advertising. Content are billboards. Content is your logo. Content is literally everything that surrounds your brand. So you have to look at all of these pieces when it comes into content marketing. It does not mean you need to do all of these things. That would probably be wasteful, and it would be more of a shotgun approach. You have to go back to your personas. What do your personas want to digest in terms of content? So this is a little story, I love this story, about Joshy the giraffe. Creating content can come from anywhere. So there was a little boy, and he went to the Ritz-Carlton on Amelia Island with his parents, and he had his little stuffed giraffe. I don't know how many of you have kids that have a special stuffed animal, or if you yourself had a special stuffed animal. Some of you are younger than me. If you lose that stuffed animal, the world ends. My daughter has a blanket that if we lost that blanket, she will not go to sleep. She'll just wait. Just wait until it comes back. So this little boy had this very special stuffed giraffe named Joshy, and they left him there. And so, and then they flew back from Florida to Toronto, and they called the Ritz-Carlton as soon as they discovered that Joshy was missing and said, that's what you do, what all parents do, is you lie. You lie. Well, Joshy wasn't done with his vacation yet. And so what he is doing, he's seeing more of the hotel and wanted to stay at the beach. He's doing another little trip. That's what Joshy is doing. So the dad calls and says, can you please find this giraffe and send it? I will give you my credit card number and you can overnight it, whatever it costs, to find the giraffe. Well, someone in the laundry service found the giraffe stuck in the sheets. And so they pulled this little giraffe out, started taking pictures of him helping out in the laundry. And then they passed him along to someone in security on loss prevention. And what did security do? They gave him sunglasses, they made him a badge, got his picture taken, gave him a special badge, took his picture reviewing the security camera footage. They took his picture, they passed him along to someone in the spa. They put little cucumbers over his eyes and wrapped a spa towel around his head, and he was on the massage table. And then they passed him along, and the pool attendants took a picture of him by the pool, sitting on a chaise lounge. And then was passed to the front desk, and he was given a little certificate that said Joshie was a official ambassador for the Ritz-Carlton. And then they overnighted at no charge to this family the stuffed giraffe. What's the first thing you do when you open a box and your child's stuffed animal is there with a photo album of these pictures of your giraffe doing all of these things, his sunglasses, his Ritz-Carlton t-shirt, his album of just all these little expeditions he did and information? What do? You post the heck out of that thing on Facebook. You share that. You tell everyone you know. You also never stay at another hotel when you go back to that area, and any opportunity you get, you go back to the Ritz-Carlton. Where did that story start? In the laundry room. It started in the laundry room by someone paying attention and deciding to take that extra step. Your great customer stories can start from literally anywhere. Everyone can have a great idea, and that type of content you can't buy. Joshie is one of my favorite stories because it's really impactful, because so many people had a hand on it, and what really mattered was that the fact that the Ritz handled it incredibly well, by virtue of just staying true to what their principles are of service. You pay for that service when you stay there, but for a family like this that had this sort of situation, that's immeasurable. As a mom, that I couldn't possibly measure that. I would post that thing once a week for 6 months and be like, hey, everyone, you should go to the Ritz-Carlton. I can't believe these people. And I had an experience similar to that where my daughter, I was staying at the Ritz in Atlanta. My daughter approaches the woman bringing our room service, says, do you have any champagne? Because my daughter's embarrassing, and she says things like that. She means sparkling cider. She loves sparkling cider. She says, do you have any champagne? And I was like, no. And she's like, I love champagne, but not real champagne, kid champagne. I love kid champagne. And I was like, okay, that's nice and all. And she leaves. 10 minutes later, she comes back with a sterling silver bucket of sparkling apple cider for my daughter and didn't charge me for it. I posted the heck out of that thing for sure. Shared it on Twitter, shared it on Facebook, shared it on Instagram. I blogged about it. It's a big deal when you have stories like that. That's where your content can come from. Your content can come from literally any type of story. So blogging, it's not just a journal anymore. We used to talk about blogging with businesses and they're like, no, we don't. We're a serious company, we don't have a blog. We don't need a blog. They're thinking of teenagers writing in their MySpace journal. That is not what a blog is. A blog is literally just dynamic content about your company. It can be news, it can be articles, it can be shared stories, it can be amazing stories like Joshie the giraffe. It can be anything. It is an opportunity to be found. People bad at SEO will tell you that you can rank on a single page for a dozen keywords. That's not true. So what blogs do is give you an opportunity to rank for new keywords, multiple opportunities for people to find you. It's a great way to establish authority, to validate things that you're talking about. It's a great way to engage with your audience, solicit opinion, tell them about cool things coming up. It's a great way to feed your social, give you opportunities for putting content on your social. Having a blog that you post to is kind of the corollary to that. Having a blog increases your traffic by 53%. I would like 50% more traffic. I think most of you would agree. One case study for us, 5 months of blogging for one of our clients, our clients, led to 33,600% increase in ranked keywords on Google. Now they were starting very low, so I will say that that's kind of a skewed number, but that's a huge percentage and one that the clients liked. Imagine if you could increase the number of keywords of people coming into your site by 100%, by 200%. That's a really strong case for spending time blogging, spending time creating content, spending time on someone to help you with those things. That's really important. Infographics. We went to a conference in October, and that was like the buzzword. Everyone was talking about infographics. And I kept going like, wait, didn't we, I thought that was past. I thought we were kind of over infographics in 2016. But I think 2017, you're going to start to see a reemergence of infographics because the ability to design them is getting easier. It's becoming much simpler for a local business, an average business that's not like Target, to create an infographic, to create some sort of engaging content. There are a lot of tools out there that let you create your own infographics, so you don't have to, let's say, hire an agency for $3,500 to build you an infographic. You know, you can do it in-house much easier, and it can be quick and easy and simple. People are 30 times more likely to read. Infographics are 30 times more likely to be read than a text article. I should learn to read. Also, people remember 80% of what they see compared to 20% of what they read. People are a highly visual creature. All of what you do from a content marketing standpoint should be visual. There should always be a visual component. That can be a blog post with a picture. It can be an infographic. It can be a video. Content comes in many, many, many forms, but just know that people are going to engage their brain a bit more if there's a visual that goes along with it. So now, connect the pieces. All right, do you have a blog on your website that you post to? Are you tracking the analytics? How's that performance? What would it do to your website if people spent an extra 30 seconds on your blog on average? Minute on your blog on average, if they digested slightly different content? Are you tracking the keywords that you're ranking for? Are you tracking the keywords? Let's say you provide 5 different services and you rank really well in Google on 3 of them, but you really feel the hole on those other 2 keywords that those services that you're just not getting. Tackle those in your blog, build up some authority, share some unique content, give away a little special sauce. What makes you better than everyone else? So how is the performance? Are you tracking those keywords? Are you tracking growth over time? What types of content marketing would your personas like to see? If you're a financial or insurance company, funny cat videos are not what your customers want to see from you. Not that I don't want funny cat videos, I'm all about them. But I don't want it from my financial advisor. I want to think of him in a suit and being a bit more stoic and serious and caring about my money. So if he shares a white paper with me on trends, I'll skim it, probably, maybe. If he sends me an email with information that I'm actually going to find valuable, totally going to read that. But if he sends me a funny cat video posted on his blog, I might lose some respect for him. So think about your personas, think about your industry, and think about how people want to digest your content. Maybe they want an ebook. Maybe they want a white paper. Maybe they just want an infographic. I could see an infographic working well for a lot of different industries. Videos might work for a lot of people. Think about what they want, how they want it, and how frequently they want it. And stay within the context of your personas. Great examples of content marketing. Whole Foods has a great blog. They don't just tackle what they have in their stores. They tackle things like healthy living, and they know their persona is someone that wants to buy organic and probably works out or does yoga or wants to get cruelty-free beauty products, things like that. So they will share tips and information like that. So it expands just beyond their small parameters. What's going to be useful to that persona? Bon Appetit has a great podcast. They have a large segment of readers that are having long commutes in large cities, and podcasts are very popular amongst those people. Bumble and Bumble is a hair company. They do video style guides because they can do a text article, but that's not going to help me learn how to blow dry my hair. If I see somebody holding the hair dryer correctly, I might actually blow dry my hair correctly for once. Airbnb does localist downloadable PDFs where when you go to a specific location, you can download a PDF based on what's there. There's a lot of other great examples of content marketing. A lot of people do it really well. So a money-saving tip, repurpose your content, and repurpose your content. If you spend time, money, and effort writing a blog post, and that blog post is well-researched, and it has a bunch of stats in it, and it has some just really cool information, every stat can be a tweet. You can write a social post for Facebook, bringing people to that blog post that you wrote. You've already done the blog post. Maybe you expand some of your research and create a white paper. Now you've got your white paper, you decide, I'm going to turn this into a video. So you make a video that essentially talks about one facet of your blog post and expands more to that one facet. Well, now you can share that video not only on your YouTube channel, but on Facebook and on Twitter. Well, now I've gone to all this trouble. I've got this white paper. I've got great statistics. I'm going to put it in Canva and build an infographic for it. And I'm going to share that on social. And I'm going to take that infographic, I'm going to post it on my website and make it downloadable. I just did one bit of research, wrote a blog post, and turned it into half a dozen or more different opportunities for engaging with my customers. It's a much more affordable way than every month going, all right, I need a video topic, I need a blog topic, I need about 75 tweets, I need 30 different Facebook posts. Oh, that's a lot of content. Or you do the work one time, repurpose it a bunch of times so that it still feels fresh, but you can use it in multiple different opportunities. So one company that's really, really great about this is Starbucks. If you follow Starbucks on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest, which I am guilty of, you will not see the same content 4 times. You will see slightly different content 4 times. They will take a picture of a really attractive latte. You know the type where you can tell they spent some time putting it in there and they made a little leaf or something on top, and then they will put a recipe card on for making your own flat white. They taste like marketing because they're the same as everything else there. But recipe card on Pinterest for a flat white. Well, then they put a beautiful picture of a flat white on Instagram. That's just a gorgeous photo because it's all about the visual on Instagram. Well, then they put something else on Facebook about some customer's experience of the flat white. It was amazing. It tasted like marketing. And then they tweet about the flat white and how it's the hottest selling new beverage for Starbucks. Come get your own. And then they put out an appeal across all those channels. Send us your pictures of you drinking a flat white. We want to see you. And people do. They love taking pictures of their coffee. So everyone, then they've got user-generated content. They did one photo shoot with a flat white. That was it. One photo shoot. And they turned it into a bunch of different things. They probably even made a video of someone making a flat white, and it was the same. But they did it once. But it made it into a significant number of diverse things so that someone like me that's a freak and follows them on every channel doesn't get sick of their content. Tooltip, use a content calendar to organize themes, assign tasks and ideas, and much more. Content calendars can be an Excel spreadsheet, it can be a Google Sheet, it can be a notebook. It doesn't matter. I love clients that are like, come to me at, let's say, the Friday before Thanksgiving break, and they say, we need to figure out our Black Friday promotions. I'm like, Thanksgiving's been on the calendar for literally the whole year. We still know it's on Thursday. We know Black Friday comes on Friday, and Cyber Monday is the Monday after. It's too late to put in all of those promotions and schedule all of that stuff for you. It's going to be a really tough process. Did you know that Thanksgiving's in November and that Christmas follows it in December? Yes, it does. Amazing. So if you have it in a calendar, you know that in October October, at the beginning, you should start planning those promotions, scheduling those tweets, being ready for that. If you have a business that's highly seasonal, you are ready in advance of those trends. We work with jewelry companies. Well, they have a very busy season between Black Friday and Valentine's Day, and then a dead season before Mother's Day. We know this happens every year, so we're ready for it when it starts to happen by writing your ideas down, figuring out what your specific time periods are. If you work with nurses and there's National Nursing Day, you know when that day is and you're ready for that post, gosh darn it. If you know that graduation season is coming, you're ready for graduation season, so you can tailor all your posts to graduates or new graduates, or you can hit those pain points for people that are graduating. The dads and grads season, I hate that term, but people love to play around with it. If you have it in a calendar, you're ready for it. If tax season is your thing, January or April, everyone forgets that we had to do our taxes literally the whole last year. If you're ready for it, if you write it down. Asana is a great project management tool. I've not been paid by any of these companies. They're all ones that either we use or we love. Those are both free. Totally free. Asana's free. Great way to assign tasks, schedule them out. Write and schedule social posts the first of the month. Plan Facebook ads for the second of the month. Check analytics on the 30th. You can schedule and assign these tasks. They pop up. It's time to do them. You can't forget that Thanksgiving is coming that way. So just by being organized, you're ready for things to happen. All right, so let's get social. You've got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Oh my. And then other things too. So my 4 steps to social marketing success, and I literally given an entire speech on this, and I'm going to give it about a minute. Go back to your personas again. Look at your analytics. Go back to your personas. Where are they? You do not have to be on every social media platform all the time. That's a myth that agencies and social media people want to tell you. You have to be everywhere all at once all the time. You don't, because if your customers are 18 or 16 to 18, they're young, you really don't need to tackle LinkedIn or Google+, you're fine. If your customers are over 60, I think you can skip Snapchat and Instagram. But I'd hit Facebook hard. So think about who your customers are. If you're say the Chamber, you've got kind of a big range of people to target. So in that case, you do want to target a wider audience, but then you focus more on, let's say, Facebook, because you know that pretty much everyone's going to be on Facebook. So think about who they are and where they're going to spend their time and how often. If your target market's like a super sharer like me, I'm probably checking Facebook 6 or 8 times a day. Same on Instagram, more on Twitter. You got to keep it exciting and fresh for me without making me annoyed by you. So figure out how often they're engaging, where they're engaging, and then also when. What days of the week, what times of the day. You can see all of that information in the analytics for each platform. You can also see that and tie it into your Google Analytics. It's a wonderful thing when you go back to that analytics and figure out who your personas are, where they are, so that you don't waste time, and time is money, on platforms where your customers literally are not spending any time. Find amazing content. Give away the special sauce. I love the idea of giving away special sauce. I'm giving away a lot of tips today. I don't feel like that's going to threaten my business model. Give away something that makes you a professional at what you do. People want to know that you are who you say you are. A lot of businesses say, well, I don't need social. I'm in B2B. My customers are not on Facebook. Want to bet there's 1.6 billion people on Facebook? Yes, they are. Everybody's on Facebook pretty much. They may not be on Twitter, or they may not be on Twitter 20 times a day, but they're on social media. It's just how do you target them so that they check for that relevance. A lot of times now people will go to your website and then they check your social pages to verify that you are who you say you are. It's very easy to make a really impressive, beautiful website nowadays, so it's easy to convince people that you're amazing and you're a total fraud. And then you go to the Facebook page and you have 30 likes. You've only been in business for a couple of days. I know someone heard about this last week. They were looking for QuickBooks help, and they Googled it, and someone showed up a website for it, and they gave them a bunch of their QuickBooks information and passed it along. The website was very convincing. Well, then they asked their friend, who's an accountant, and said, well, I don't think I actually asked QuickBooks the information. I think I asked somebody else. I'm a little confused. Can you look at this? They looked it up. It was a company that had been in business less than 3 months in California. They gave them all their accounting information. It's very easy to make a very convincing website. People are now more and more going to social as a way to verify that you are who you say you are. If you're a huge company, you should have more than 30 fans on Facebook. You probably have more than 30 employees. Make them all fan the company. So think about it that way. People are using it as a second-tier validation if you get pushback on why should we even look at social. Find amazing content. It's all about content. Be useful. Don't be noise. Yes, everyone's going to like your dog photo because everyone likes dogs. It doesn't provide value. So get them in with the dog photo and then give them an important fact in the next post. Then they're already there looking at the dog photo, clicking like, and then you've given them some unique information about a promotion or about a fun fact about something that your product does. Because I guarantee you, if you look at your history, your most liked posts will be Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. Didn't provide value, did it? But there's nothing upsetting about Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving from our team to yours. Yes, that's a cute graphic. Oh, a doggy. Those are all things that you can like, but it didn't provide value. So you can take the like and take the engagement so that it spreads to more people, but then hit them with value. So you have to combine it. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Do not do Facebook Day, which is where you post all your content on one day, and then you don't post a darn thing for the rest of the month. We have scheduling tools for that so that you can convince people you posted every day, even if you did all your scheduling on one day. Don't post really hard for 3 months. And you're having the youngest person on your staff do all your social posting because that's what makes sense. And then they leave and go to a new job, and then nobody posts for 6 months. And then you got a new intern, and all right, you do it now. And then they post for a while, and it's a little inconsistent and scattered, and then they leave and go for a new opportunity, and then you're like, man, be consistent. It has to be a priority. If you have your content calendar, you can spend, with a well-organized understanding of your business, probably an hour a month, and you can have posts for every day of the week on all of the platforms you need to be on. You just need to spend 1 hour a month, and you're probably fine. It's not brain surgery. You already know your personas. You know what they want to hear. You have the content. You're experts at what you do. Just spend a little bit of time being organized about it, and then you can move from there. Be consistent. Also, don't just hand social off to the youngest person in the office. That happens a lot. Make sure they know the brand. You want the voice and the mouthpiece of your company to have a good understanding of the brand. That's not to say that if they're 22, they can't do a good job at social. They absolutely can. But they have to understand the brand and the job and the task at hand and what a business page means as opposed to a personal page. They're very different. So balance that. Make sure there's an understanding of what types of content you want pushed out. Be engaging. Ask short questions. Then use your analytics. What time are people engaging? How often are they engaging? What's the age range? What's the gender? You can see all of these things, and you can then target more effective pieces at them. Bonus, more consistency. I really do recommend it. It's very important. Money-saving tip. Social media doesn't have to be expensive, but it does have to be organized. Create that content calendar. It is a revelation when you get everything written down ahead of time. I'm going to do questions at the end. Write it down, though, because I would totally forget it. Tool tip. I have 2 tools, and there are many, many more, but Canva.com. Guy Kawasaki is the chief evangelist for Canva. I met him. He used to be good friends with Steve Jobs, so he knows what he's talking about. And he promotes Canva. Basically with Canva, you can build a web-friendly graphic in less time it takes to open Photoshop on your computer. And if you are trying to run Photoshop on a PC, you know that's so true.
Canva, it is not for printing things like, let's say, an advertisement for a magazine. It's not for heavy, but you can absolutely do any web graphic, any social graphic. You can build infographics. If you are in between jobs and you need to build a resume, their templates are extraordinary. I helped a recent college grad do hers, and by help, I do mean I redid her resume because it was crap, and did it in a template in Canva. She had no job offers for 6 months. I've cleaned up her resume based on what I would expect it to look like, and she had 4 offers in a month. So, great templates if you're looking. It's a great way to do that. You can also do things like business cards. I prefer an Adobe Suite for something like that if you're doing something that's going to be printed. But Canva is extraordinary. We use it daily in our office. Hootsuite, there are others. There's Buffer, there's Hootsuite. Every new startup has some new tool. We have this great platform for scheduling your tweets in. Hootsuite's a nice old standard. It's very cheap. You know, it goes from free to, well, it depends on how many people you have posting, but like, you know, $50 a month. So like usually most people are in the free to $20 a month range. Great way to schedule, increase content, do shortening your links, all of that. They also have analytics. So we have a case study for a Facebook campaign we ran. We spent $0 in advertising. We reached 269,000 people. We had 21,800 engaged users. That means likes, comments, shares, and link clicks. 400 new followers on the page, and just 1 custom hashtag. So how do we do that? Number 1, organization. We had 7 days to do all of that stuff. So in 7 days, we had all of our posts written. We used amazing images. We were short, sweet, and to the point, and succinct. People are inherently lazy. It's a revelation to learn that, but people are lazy. If you ask someone to share their life story on Facebook, they're probably not going to do that unless they're one of the narcissists that you know who they are. If you say, what's your dream destination? Beach, lake, mountain, and show 3 pictures of that, everyone in the world is going to post. If you say, what's your dream night out, and you show a picture of Netflix and chill and a fancy dinner or a ski lodge, people will comment and share, and they will tag their friends because, you know, people care about those things, and it's short and quick and easy to answer. All I have to do is 1 word: beach, wine, friends. I mean, like 1, 2 words, people will comment on that. So if you make it very easy for people to comment and post, they will do it. If you say, tell me about your fondest childhood memory, nobody's going to do it except the really annoying person that you then want to delete because they end up saying something that's really inappropriate and you don't want your boss to see, and it's just awful, and you're like, oh my God, why this idea was terrible. Hashtags, use hashtags. You can track them. You can use them across Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hashtags are wonderful. Create a custom one for your business. Make sure it's not something else. We've had issues where we've tried to do a hashtag and we're like, ooh, no, that means something else entirely. Can't use that one. Come up with a hashtag. Make sure it's not been hijacked by somebody else for, you know, porn or whatever, because that can happen. But it lets you track things really effectively. And then create something that's very engaging that people want to share. Because then someone like Mayor Herda will share a post using your hashtag, and you're like, oh my God, we just reached 9,000 people by just the mayor like posting 1 thing. That she probably would have posted anyway, but she used it with a custom hashtag that she was not prompted to do, so it reached way more people because she's pretty popular. Use appealing visual images. People like food, people like dogs, people like cute kids, people like, you know, Christmas and things that are not unfriendly. People like alcohol. I'd say that people do like it. People like coffee. Use appealing visual images to get people to like what you have, because then they're gonna stop. If I see a dog, I'm gonna stop because I love dogs. And so I'm just gonna stop and I'm gonna be like, all right, what's this about? And I'm gonna read it, and if it's something that's quick and easy, like, what's your favorite kind of dog? I go, Beagle. And then I've got my Beagle. You know, it makes it very simple to get people to stop. What's your favorite kind of alcohol? Or what's your favorite kind of wine? Or what's your dream destination? There are ways, you know, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite app? Things like that. Get people to stop. You use a really appealing picture. People will stop. And all you have to do is get them to stop. Then they'll read, and then you have to get them to take action. So you've got to finish that process, but you'll get them to do it. So focus on engagement. What's going to get them to stop with your visuals? What's going to get them to take the next step? Then measure it. Measure, user analytics. Measure. Email, because all the cool kids are doing email. Literally everybody's doing email. Email is one problem. It's not as sexy as social. Everyone wants to talk about social. When I do speeches, everyone's like, can you talk about social? I'm like, yeah, but everyone talks about social. Everyone's a social media guru now, and I hate that. Email is really effective, but it's really bland, and no one gets excited about, man, I can't wait to play with my MailChimp template. No, you don't want to do that. It's lame. But there's 3.2 billion email accounts. There's 95% of consumers using email and 91% check once a day. And then there are the subset of people that probably check, I don't know, how many minutes are there in a day? Because that's probably how often I'm checking. Before I go to bed, when I wake up, every 4 or 5 minutes throughout the day after that. So people love email. Email's very cheap. I meant to throw in a slide here on email. One important thing, my little money-saving tip, don't overbuy the platform. If you have 500 people on your email list, you should not be paying for a vendor that gives you 1 million emails a month or a year. That's a waste of money. It's going to cost. Their email is based on usage. So if you're going to send 1 million emails in a given month, then yeah, go ahead. You've got a 200,000 person list. Totally pay $800 a month. But if you only have 1,000 people on your list and you're going to send them 1 email a month, get a free MailChimp account and don't pay for it. So think about what you need out of email. How many people are on your list? How many people, let's say, are going to be on your list by the end of the year? And just purchase that. Don't overbuy. You don't need every bell and whistle if your email list is 500 people and you're going to maybe forget to do your email quarterly. Think about what you actually need. So directories, there is such a thing as a free lunch. Yelp, Google My Business, whatever they're calling it today. They like to change it daily. All of the other directories. So there are things like Yext, which will help you consolidate it. A lot of times you can save the money by just doing it yourself and tackling all your different listings. Google yourself, Google your business, and correct all incorrect NAP listings. NAP, name, address, phone number. Make sure people have an email, like an info at or a sales at email address. Make sure your phone number is correct. If you've moved, it's probably wrong somewhere on the web. I do this for a living and have found my number wrong places. It sneaks by you. It is possible to make a mistake. Make sure your phone number is correct because somebody could be using one of those really obscure directories, see your phone number, dial it wrong, and then I get a terrible perspective of you. It could be an old, outdated address if you've moved locations, or if you went from, let's say, a home-based business to an office location. You could totally lose that address. So make sure all your NAP listings are correct. Add as much detail as you can. If it lets you add services, add services. If it lets you add bios of the CEO, add a bio of the CEO. If it lets you share a link to have people add a review, share the link, have people add reviews as soon as they can. Request reviews from your customer and say, oh, thank you so much for your purchase. If you had a moment, you could put a review of us on Google Places. That would be stupendous. And having them do it on Facebook or having them do it wherever. If you're in the home services, getting people to do Angie's List or Home Advisor or House, or if you're a realtor, Zillow, those reviews are priceless for people. Share those reviews. Those are really important. Case studies. Create them. Write case studies of what you've done. It's that whole idea of what have you done. Great benefits of case studies. Shareable for social. Content marketing. You can share it with leads. Someone that says, well, yeah, but have you ever done this before? Yes, I have, and here's the case study to prove it. Look at this customer's percentage of ROI they got. Well, you can use it with current customers. Sometimes we get clients that, believe it or not, don't read their reports. And so we send them reports. They don't read them. And then we say, hey, can you read this case study? It's about you. And then they read it, they're like, wow, you really did all of that stuff? Yeah, we did. We've been telling you about it, but we knew you wouldn't read it. But we put it in this really pretty PDF, and now all of a sudden you believe us. Share it for retention, because retention is growth. Retaining your customers is the cheapest way to get new ones. And highlight your success. Don't forget the media. Media is important. I said I wouldn't talk about traditional, but I kind of am. There is a thing you can sign up for. It's free, called Herda, Help a Reporter Out. You say what you are a specialist in, and there will be releases, and they come out 3 times a day. And those releases will have things like requests for specialists. So if there's one that says, need an SEO expert who can answer this really obscure question about this, you might just end up in Forbes magazine, because that's happened. So that's a great thing to follow. There are different ones based on industry. Doing press releases, only do it if you've done something newsworthy. But releasing press releases quarterly, great way to do it. You can do it on PR Web for about $150. All you have to do is be fluent in English. And you can write a press release that's probably better than most of the trash that gets passed around. Reputation management. Number 1 rule, just do great service. Do what you do really well. And that's kind of all you need. Case study. So we did a press release and SEO campaign over a period of 3 months with a client. We increased their backlinks almost 7,000%. And if you go back to when I talked about SEO, backlinks create authority. That's an increase for Google. So that increased their domain authority, and it increased their keyword rankings 870% just by doing a SEO and press release combination. So doing that in tandem didn't cost the client a whole heck of a lot of money, but it was really targeted. So brand and reputation management, create a crisis plan, watch your reviews. Now, I say create a crisis plan first, because people will respond to reviews in anger. Someone will say really nasty things about you, and you will respond. Or worse, your spouse will respond. And that's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to happen, because it's very easy to get passionate about what you do. And if someone says that you're full of crap, or whatever nonsense they have, and of course it's going to be spelled wrong, and it's going to look like it was written by a 4th grader, respond carefully with a planned response. Or better yet, have a couple people read it before you post it, because it could be like, I am so sorry you had that experience. It is our goal to make sure that people don't have that sort of experience with our products. We would be glad to help you out with your defective product. Please call this number, ask for this person, and we will absolutely get you taken care of and give you something for free. We're so sorry you had this experience. That's way better than your, spouting some 4-letter words, which I've seen. So make sure you have the plan in place before you respond. There was a writer, and I can't remember what book she wrote, but it was some writer that wrote like chick lit, and someone gave her a 1-star review on Amazon. Like literally just like, I thought this book was trash, she's a terrible writer. Like the kind of thing people post on Amazon. Her husband goes on there and starts calling them like 4-letter words and terrible names, and like, he looked like a psychopath. It didn't look well for her, and her book sales have suffered since then. Evaluate how what people say about you online. If it's bad, maybe you need to do a little internal look and see what they're doing. I use the examples of when people make a mistake, why I stayed, and time to hit the hay. So there is a chain of grocery stores in Britain, and I don't remember what it's called, but they were found in a big article to have horse meat in their beef, and they were selling beef horse meat melange to people. And they had previously scheduled posts in Hootsuite, and it said, all right guys, we're closing at 5, time to hit the hay. They forgot to check what they'd scheduled, and that didn't look very good. So that's some very bad press. Now, okay, someone should have been like, we should check what we've scheduled now that this bad press is out. Well, someone also then had to go out and be like, I'm so sorry that we posted that, it was really insensitive, that person's been fired. It's an honest mistake, but still. And DiGiorno hopped on a hashtag trend called Why I Stayed, and it was about domestic violence after, I forget which football player, but he got caught like beating his wife in an elevator. And so this hashtag Why I Stayed came on there. And they just tweeted, Why I Stayed, the pizza. which is really insensitive and really bad. But they apologized. What they did was they went to every person that tweeted at them and said, that's really awful, DiGiorno's terrible, and they personally apologized. We are so sorry to you at Courtney Herda. We did not mean it. We didn't understand the hashtag before we did it. We've changed our policies to make sure we do that in the future. We're really sorry for being insensitive. It's been handled. And we're making a very large donation to this domestic abuse shelter. So they handled it. So good current service doesn't cost anything. Good, now go back to your analytics. I'm about out of time. So go over your baseline, month over month, year over year, desktop versus mobile. Look at all of those things, change over time. Look at a month, look at a quarter, look at a year. Look at all of those pieces. You have to go back to the analytics, it's really important. Look at desktop versus mobile. Are people staying longer on one versus the other? Why? Test it out on yourself, test it on your phone. Find someone with an Android, have them test it. Find someone with an iPad, test it. Look at your keyword rankings. Google yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't click on your paid ads, but Google yourself. What's your bounce rate like? How often are people leaving your site? Look at your goal completions. Look at all of those pieces. What's working and what isn't. All right, how to allocate your time. Focus on positive revenue streams. Invest more into them because they should keep going positively. Negative revenue streams, maybe discontinue them or completely change your strategy depending on your budget. I once had a client when I worked in scripts, and he was like the publisher of the Commercial Appeal in Memphis or something like that, and he's like, I want to buy the keyword Memphis. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. He said, I want to do it, $5,000. Well, sure enough, we spent $5,000 on that keyword, and it did absolutely nothing for them and didn't bring in any traffic to their site because Memphis is not a good keyword. So if you're prepared to spend $5,000, then be my guest. But know that you might lose it. Look for average revenue streams. See if you can improve it. Time equals money. How does that play a role in your marketing? So now, go back to your analytics again. Test new ad copy, landing page, calls to action, and images. Those all can have a big role. It's not so much about now changing the color of a button from red to green, but like actually changing the whole strategy behind what you're doing. Then embrace more opportunities. As you're being more profitable, how do you want to reinvest that? PPC, video, display ads, added website functionality, SEO campaigns that are very technical, outsourcing that content. All of those things are typically very expensive. So look at what you can do now that you've reinvested in these other opportunities. How do you want to prioritize moving forward on those pieces? See? I think that's about it. Any questions? Oh, no, I'm going to go back. There you go. Questions. You can email me, you can tweet me at either of those, and you can get a hold of me. Okay, you had a question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask for your social media analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing that under Google Analytics, or are you doing it under like Facebook's?
It depends on the client. Typically, if we're looking at something specific to Facebook, we'll use Facebook's analytics. It's a hot mess. It gets better all the time, but it's kind of a hot mess. When it comes to Facebook ads, it's kind of the only thing you can do is use Facebook's own proprietary. Twitter's analytics are pretty good. Instagram's you have to use another client. So it does depend on what you're doing, but you can definitely tie traffic from social to your website, and you should be doing that in analytics and looking at how they respond from social to your pages, and then what each different category is doing, each platform. Other questions? Awesome. Well, thank y'all. I'll stay here for a little bit.